Welcome to JGod Gaming, a channel where I like to break down different in-game mechanics in Call of Duty and give you tons of tips and tricks on how to improve. In today's video, I'll be talking about how to get more kills in each match you play. And there's a few different tactics I have and tips that I'll be able to provide. There's pretty much 3 options, and each of those options revolve around streaks. So go ahead and stick around. I'm going to go ahead and touch on all of them, and you're going to have some gameplay proving some of the points in the background. I do have a like goal of 75, so if you could really help me out with that before you click away, at whatever point in the video you decide to click away. And then go ahead and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already and are enjoying the content and want more of this. I do tons of videos, about 4 a week, so hopefully you enjoy. So for tip number 1, I recommend using the Ordnance basic training just because that's going to reduce the cost of all your different score streaks. This will also be a part of tip number 2, and that'll be when I get into the score streaks, it'll make a little bit more sense. As far as tip number 3, it's going to be tied in with requisitions, but I'm going to give you specific breakdowns of what combination of score streaks you should be using so you can maximize your output in a game. Keep in mind that the actual tip will apply to different people differently and what mode you prefer to play. So for example, if you play domination, you're not likely going to get paratroopers unless you probably run requisitions, because that's like a 24 gun streak, kill streak, score streak, however you want to break it down. You got to get a lot of score to actually accomplish that. So requisitions is a good way to go when you're playing dom with a lower score streak. So in the gameplay in the background, you can see I'm running Ordnance. I'm also running the recon plane, the fighter plane, as well as the glide bomb, and I have 2 lethal streaks. The alternative to this is to throw in the counter recon plane, because you get an easy 150 points if they have a recon plane up in the air when you call it in, which will automatically roll you over to your next streak. So let's go ahead and look at some of the other combinations for tip 1, 2, and 3. So starting off from scratch, you can see I'm going to put together the class that I just showed you, which is the counter recon and the fighter plane with the recon plane. So obviously you get the assist and then you get the stack. So here's the one that I'm running in the actual video. And then pretty much I'm going to rotate to the next one, which again, Ordnance is good. But keep in mind that if you have Ordnance on, you could cycle through these streaks twice before you actually get paratroopers. So you really have to get a good set of paratroopers to make it worth it. And with the recent buff to paratroopers, that might be the case where it is worth it. Also, the emergency airdrop is killer in this game because you get the 3 of them. And that's good to pair with the paratroopers, because then the paratroopers can land, protect you while you open up your emergency airdrop. And then with Ordnance, you can actually flip the packages out if you don't like them. If you just get recon planes from them, you can swap them to something else. If you're going to do requisitions, you're going to want to run flat gun so you can protect yourself, so that you can throw a flat gun, then do your paratroopers, and then drop your emergency airdrop. With your flat gun going, the enemy team won't be able to call it in and stop you. Carpet bombing is pretty cool too, but you do need matches that are a little bit longer so that you can account for that, since the score is a little bit higher. And you can see one of my teammates in this actual clip, he is running requisitions, he or she is running requisitions, and they're able to get some of their higher streaks. And they only had like 14 kills, so it's not incredibly unattainable to get these streaks if you get tags and you make sure that you're grinding to actually get score. A lot of times a fighter plane, you could easily get 5 kills or you can get none. It really depends. You got to know where the spawns are and then account for people being in spawn protected. So right now I'm just kind of running around, but this entire match I get about 8 kills from my streaks, and I probably run them about 3 times. So that's 6 streaks. That means I'm getting 1 to 2 kills per streak. And a lot of times you can actually extend your streaks and get more score per minute, because your streaks will end up leading to the medal streaks. So that's like bloodthirsties, merciless, unstoppables, all those types of things, and you're gonna get a higher score as a result of it. This gameplay doesn't look incredibly fast, but you'd be surprised to learn that I got over 700 score per minute just playing this, and it doesn't look like incredibly fast gameplay. I'm not playing super aggressive. I'm just playing really smart, using my streaks effectively. My teammates are picking up my tags, and we pretty much slaughtered the enemy team. So we're going to kind of focus on that. I come around, get kills. You can see I already have the streak set up. And before I cycle through again, I make sure I call them in and I continue to put on the heat. My teammates are not really pushing up. We don't really have good map control. So they just happen to die. They're coming out of spawn. I don't get a good amount of kills there. But in the end, this is kind of how the streaks work. You got to play averages. So odds are you're going to get 2 kills with each of these streaks. In some cases more than that, and in some cases less than that. Obviously you still got to use your gun skill to get kills, but that's just kind of how it works. I'm going to go ahead and skip a little bit further ahead so you can see the post-match And then the main match I really want to focus on is the next match where I actually had the higher score streaks on. So in the end, I had 40 kills, 7 deaths, 29 confirms, and 5 denies. You can see right here, I had 738 score per minute, 6-minute match. Nothing crazy there. And then the medals actually stacked up pretty good. Got the 8 kills with the different streaks. Moving on to the second match in the video, you're going to see that I have the higher streaks on. Still running Ordnance. I think I've only ran Requisitions maybe 2 or 3 times, so I don't really run that, but I'm familiar with definitely how that works. So in this particular gameplay, I did have a team that was not very strong and an enemy team that was not very strong. So I was able to rack up some good streaks prior to actually calling in my score streaks. So I got a lot of gun kills in this match. But the thing is, you're going to see that when I actually call in the flat gun, the emergency airdrop, and the paratroopers all together, you're going to see how all that synergizes, stacks, and I get some really good kills from my paratroopers, and then it leads to more streaks later on down the road. I only got my set of streaks once and a half. I didn't get the paratroopers the second time around. I died probably like 1 kill off, but you'll see that in the video. So I'm here just still racking up kills. A lot of close calls. It's definitely difficult to go on a paratrooper streak and kill confirmed. It's a lot easier in a game mode that has a 100 score, like hard point or capture the flag. So those are maybe some of the recommendations I would have about mode. But I did want to show off a little bit of this gameplay just because it points out to the fact of how good streaks can be and how they can lead to high kill gameplay. And you'll see that right now. So right now I'm just finishing this guy off. Get it, got the paratroopers. I really want to push to the other side because I usually prefer to drop paratroopers close to or nearby the enemy team spawn, and then I anchor my spawn so that the people can get killed coming out of spawn by paratroopers, because paratroopers don't influence spawns at all. You can literally spawn and a paratrooper will be looking at you and you'll get a kill. So a lot of times that's a free kill. But since I died right there, I decide, you know what, it's time to call him in. Once I saw that the lobby was as good as it was, I wish I would have actually not run the flat gun, just because it wasn't essential in any way. There was no way they had flat guns prior to me calling in my paratroopers. So that was kind of a wasted streak. I could have gone with another lethal, probably a fighter plane, just to get a few more kills. So right there you see I got the paratroopers. They've already landed. Now they're protecting me. And then I wish I would have focused a little bit more on the ordnance part of it. I don't really call in emergency airdrops often, just because I don't really prefer the higher score streaks. I prefer to go with the lower ones, like I demonstrated in the previous one, because I could have swapped some of these out for other things. And you can see the paratroopers going off. They already got me probably about 5-6 kills, and they continue to go off. I have a good landing of these mortar strikes, probably one of the best mortar strike landings I've ever had. But you can see I haven't shot anyone since I actually spawned back in. And you can see that I already got a 10 streak, 15 streak is going to be coming up right now. And you can just see the feed. It's all, there it is, I got 1 kill. But I'm already up to 15 kill streak right here, just with my score streaks, and the paratroopers are still going off. So anyone says they suck, it's just about placement and how good your enemy team is. You can see I got another carpet bombing. And, you know, I never run carpet bombing either, just because, you know, I prefer, like I said, to cycle through my streaks very often. But this gameplay proved to me that maybe I should start running those a little bit more often, especially in those higher score game modes. Still, the streaks are going off. I got 18 kills just from those streaks right now. And it just continues. So I don't know what would have happened if I ran the lower streaks. Maybe I would have got the fighter plane like 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. And maybe I could have got 3 or 4 kills each time. I don't know. It's hard to say, but these are the 2 examples that I recommend as far as the first option, the second option. Obviously, this one's a little bit higher skilled. Like, you got to have higher potential to go on these types of streaks to make it worthwhile. If you're not going on these higher streaks, you're probably just wasting your energy, because if you never hit 1100 score without dying, then pretty much why would you run that streak? So you got to be really smart and know where you're at and be honest about your skill. So right here, I actually remembered, oh, you know what, I got ordnance on, let me try and flip, and then I got shot in the back. So I should have waited for my paratroopers before I called it in. I should have listened to my own advice. So that's pretty much kind of how the map carries on. And it just goes on, you know, kills after that point. I don't really get much more kills from my streaks. 38 and 3, and probably had about 20 kills just from streaks. So overall, I ended up dropping 59 kills and had 9 deaths total by the end of this match. And that's pretty much what I wanted to point out, is that you can get these high, crazy kill games utilizing streaks. Obviously, I probably had about 30, 35, 40 kills with just my gun, which is impressive in its own. But with the streaks, it just puts you over the top. I got over 20 kills with just streaks. So that's something to keep in mind. Even if I would have only got like 15 kills, went on that streak initially, I probably still would have ended up close to 40-45 kills. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you go ahead and click that like button. It does help the video. Make sure that has that positive rating. And then also, if you haven't subscribed yet and you're still watching, you should probably subscribe. You obviously like the content if you're still sticking around. And then we'll go ahead and have those notifications on so you can be aware of any time I post a video or go live, because I have started live streaming and I plan to do that more on a regular basis. Feel free to check out my Twitter at jgod316. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching as always. Have a great day.